3 weeks without sleep. Everything becomes a copy of a copy of a copy. When you have insomnia, you're never really asleep, and you're never really awake. The world feels distant. The volume is turned down. You are just a spectator in your own life. Look around you. You buy the sofa. You tell yourself, that's it. This is the last sofa I will ever need. No matter what else goes wrong in my life, at least I have the sofa issue handled. Then the right set of dishes. Then the perfect bed. Then the high-speed internet. You become a slave to the nesting instinct. You are trapped in your own concrete nest. We used to look up at the stars and wonder about our place in the universe. Now, we look down at catalogs and wonder what kind of dining set defines our personality. We are consumers. We are byproducts of a lifestyle obsession. Murder, crime, poverty. These things don't scare me. What scares me is that we are willing to work 8 hours a day for 40 years just to buy things we don't need, to impress people we don't even like. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives. And you call this stability. You call this successes. But deep down, in the silence of 3 a.m., you know the truth. There is a beast scratching at the door of your soul. It doesn't want the sofa. It doesn't want the promotion. It wants freedom. It wants to feel pain. It wants to destroy everything, just to feel something real. The beast scratched long enough. One night, it kicked the door down. We crash. We meet. Tyler Durden doesn't ask polite questions. He doesn't discuss your job, or your pension, or your 401k. He looks like the man you secretly want to look like. He is everything you are not. Fearless, free, and completely uninvested in the material world. He is the violent answer to your exhaustion, a brutal baptism by fire. Who is Tyler Durden? He is a philosopher, a terrorist, and a shrewd businessman who sells soap made from human fat. But his core teaching is simple. The things you own end up owning you. Look at the beautiful prison you built. The fear of financial ruin has replaced the fear of death. We used to look up at the stars and wonder about our place in the universe. Now, we look down at catalogs and wonder what dining set defines our personality. We are not living. We are maintaining. And maintenance is the opposite of life. Tyler is obsessed with soap because it is the ultimate symbol of civilization and the false cleanliness we strive for. But what is soap made of? Tallow, animal fat. And what is our societal waste? Our fat, the disposable byproduct of a consuming lifestyle. Tyler takes that discarded waste and transforms it into a luxury item, selling it back to the very people who created it. That is his first lesson in true, dark capitalism. We are selling you the residue of your own failure. He wants to destroy the nesting instinct, the urge to buy, collect, and defend your territory. You were designed to be an explorer, an adventurer, not a maintenance technician for expensive furniture. Tyler calls it the single-serving friend syndrome. You are intimate with a stranger on a flight, sharing your deepest fears, knowing you will never see them again. That is the perfect modern relationship. No responsibility, no true pain. We are terrified of real intimacy. We prefer the safety of the social mask, the avatar on our phone, the polite colleague over the chaotic cruelty of genuine connection. We trade the possibility of real love for the certainty of shallow comfort. In the hotel, the biggest sin is not lust or greed. The biggest sin is authenticity. The first fight wasn't about winning. It was a violent baptism. It was the moment you realized pain is the only honest emotion left. You've paid doctors, therapists, and pharmaceutical companies enormous sums just to feel normal. Tyler offers you real for free. They fight in the dirt, the rain, the freezing cold. They trade their perfect safety for 2 minutes of brutal, primal connection. For the first time, they feel honest. They feel alive. That is the difference between existing and living. And that is why he laughs. Fight Club was the ultimate anti-establishment religion. It spread faster than any corporate franchise. Lawyers, bankers, CEOs, men who had perfected the art of the soft life were lining up to be broken. They were willing to sacrifice their clean shirts and their perfect teeth for one glimpse of the man they could have been. The generation that lacked a war finally found a reason to bleed. And the code was simple. No gods, no masters. You are not your job. You are not your money. You are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world. And that is freedom. Tyler gave them power. Tyler gave them meaning. But power always comes with a price, and meaning, if built on destruction, is fragile. They broke the first 2 rules of Fight Club. They started talking about Fight Club. The movement grew too big. Tyler's philosophy transcended the basement. It started affecting the economy. It started affecting the system. And what happened next? The transformation from a philosophy of pain to Project Mayhem was far more terrifying than the insomnia. The first 2 rules of Fight Club were, you do not talk about Fight Club. They were broken every single night. The silence, Jack realized, wasn't a rule at all. It was the best, most insidious marketing strategy ever conceived. It was a secret that everyone needed to share, a confession everyone needed to whisper. It spread faster than any corporate franchise, faster than any multinational corporation. Fight Club was the ultimate anti-franchise. They didn't need billboards, they didn't need a CEO, they didn't need a mission statement approved by a board. The product was pain. The payment was self-destruction. And the customer, it turned out, was everyone. Who were the new members? The men who wore the cleanest shirts? They were the most enslaved by the soft life. Lawyers who defended the system, bankers who processed the debt, programmers who built the digital cage. They had perfected the art of maintenance, maintaining their bodies, maintaining their luxury homes, maintaining the illusion of a perfect life. They needed to sacrifice their perfect smiles and expensive dental work for one honest, brutal minute in the dirt. Tyler gave them the ultimate luxury, the truth that they were not special, they were not their jobs, they were not their bank accounts, they were disposable. And in that very disposability, they found their freedom. The basement was no longer just therapy for the insomniac. It became a new religion for the generation that had everything but felt nothing. Tyler gave them the permission to regress. Permission to be ugly, to be primal, to be true. He replaced their fear of losing money with the joy of losing teeth. But the club's success was its first failure. Tyler looked at the faces, and he didn't see broken men. He saw soldiers. The basement was too small for the war he was planning. The movement needed to transcend the individual. It needed to transcend the fight. It needed structure. It needed obedience. It needed to become Project Mayhem. Project Mayhem was not a club. It was an education in anarchy. The initiation was simple. Complete the mission, no questions asked. The movement had successfully moved beyond personal therapy. The first lessons were subtle. They started by targeting the symbols of modern society, the art, the food, the corporate logos. They would replace motivational posters in corporate offices with absurd nihilistic poems. They would sabotage expensive corporate art pieces. They even targeted the service industry, small acts of petty sabotage designed to create fear and mass distrust. They weren't trying to hurt people directly. They were trying to dismantle the faith people had in the system. Their goal was to whisper to the collective consciousness, "You are not safe. The structure is fragile. Your world is a joke." Every act of destruction was a lesson in deconstruction. If you destroy the logo, you destroy the illusion of permanence. If you sabotage the food supply, you destroy the faith in comfort. They used terrorism as performance art. But the true goal, the dark, shining goal, was to reset civilization. This culminated in Project Mayhem's ultimate mission, Operation Paper Street. The targets were the corporate headquarters, the data centers, the credit agencies, the temples of modern debt. Tyler wanted to erase all debt. He wanted to wipe the slate clean. No mortgages, no credit cards, no student loans, a zero state. A world where everyone was finally free to be nothing. The narrator watched in absolute horror. This was not the freedom he sought. This was madness. Jack had wanted to kill the consumer in himself. Tyler was planning mass economic murder. The monster had grown too large for the basement. Jack knew he had to stop the movement he had helped create. But stopping Tyler required finding Tyler. And finding Tyler required facing the ultimate truth that Tyler might not be who Jack thought he was. Jack's chase began, a race against his own shadow, leading directly into the climax of the story. The missions escalated. The chaos was everywhere, but the strange thing was, Tyler wasn't. Jack began his frantic search. He drove across the country, following the trail of destruction left by Project Mayhem. He went to every basement, every storage unit, every dilapidated house Tyler had ever used, and every time, Tyler was gone. He asked the members of Project Mayhem, "Where is Tyler? I need to talk to Tyler." And they all responded with the same terrifying, obedient silence. They looked through him, not at him. They were empty vessels, waiting for command. This is when the seed of doubt was planted. The paranoia wasn't about the FBI. It was about identity. He called Marla Singer. He needed a lifeline, a witness, a second opinion on reality. But the conversation was wrong. It didn't make sense. Marla kept saying things that only Tyler would say. She kept acknowledging events that Jack had no memory of. He looked at his hands. He looked at his ticket stubs. He looked at the photographs, and in every photo of the two of them, the proof was there. Tyler was missing. There was only empty space beside him. Tyler had become too efficient. He was leaving no trace, no paper trail, no witness. He had achieved the ultimate state of freedom, anonymity, and absolute untraceable power. But the chase wasn't physical anymore. It was psychological. Jack wasn't running after Tyler. He was running from the ultimate truth about his own psyche. The truth that the monster wasn't in the basement, or on the other side of the country, or even on the phone. The monster was in the mirror. This is the point of no return. The collapse of the architect. The end of the story is about to begin.